Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Inferno cast. I, of course, am Inferno Fox, the host of the podcast and of the YouTube's Inferno Fox gaming channel. We are here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. We'll be talking about a fun topic, sort of wrapping up the first half of the year. But before we get into that, let me introduce our fantastic cast and crew. We have Jamie Owls 87, my partner and partner in crime. Also, a fellow partner on our monthly series games we are playing. Not to be confused with today's topic, though, but Jamie Owls, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I was a little thrown off that you called me first, so I wasn't ready.
Yeah, no worries. I like to throw people off. And speaking of which, also we have Jamie Owls 87, my partner and partner. Didn't think I was going to introduce you twice, did I? Did I throw you off there? No? Okay.
Oh my God, it's going to be a long one.
Oh,
Get
I
your
don't, I don't, I
blankie.
don't ever tired of hearing that, although I don't like to hear that from my sister-in-law. Also introducing
Don't knock
is,
it till you try it.
that's right, Hillbilly Hardicus. He is a good friend and resident hill slut. Hillbilly, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, and thanks for having me.
And we also have Stormrosesky of the YouTube and Twitch channels Stormrosesky. Storm, thank you for joining us. Any videos on the horizon you got coming out?
Thank you for having me. I do have one in the barrel getting ready to go, so should be here soon.
Excellent. Definitely looking forward to checking that out. Make sure you check out Stormrosesky's YouTube channel for some really cool content, like favorite cozy games and favorite media and everything like that. Definitely a lot of fun. We also have joining us for tonight's podcast, though, the Simbu Darkfang, the Simbu Darkfang. He is the host of the Scurryface Wrestling Federation show, Sunday nights on Twitch, as well as retired actor at Basement of the Dead. Simbu, thank you so much for joining us.
Where? Who? What? Why? When?
Exactly. And you graciously changed your background for those watching on YouTube to SFWF because Simbu knows I have a very bad time remembering four little letters. It's not hard. But every
No,
time I mess it up and I almost say something like SCFW or something. So Simbu, thank you for thinking of me.
yeah, always a pleasure to be here. Major announcement. This coming Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time on Twitch, Scurryface_official will be our second pay-per-view event known as Beating Beaches. Again, that is Beating Beaches. It is our summer pay-per-view for the SFWF. Again, kicks off Sunday, July 21st, 7 p.m. Central. Check your local times.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Make sure that you guys check that out. We're going to have links in the description below to the Scurryface site. So make sure you definitely check that out. It's always a lot of fun. Speaking of always a lot of fun, we have Jason the 13th of the YouTube channel, Jason the 13th. And despite the thumbs down from Simbu and the yin and yang sign from Astrimedes, Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Not a problem at all. And I hope I can get some new content out very shortly here.
Yeah, absolutely. Would like to look forward to that. You definitely got to spend some more time playing some games there, my friend.
Yep.
And last but not least, we have Astrimedes, developer and co-owner of Second Place Games. Astrimedes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me so I can spend time here instead of working on any of the games I should be working on.
Yes. There you go. So tonight we're going to be talking about really the fact that we're a little more than halfway over the point for the year 2024. So really a good time to check in with everybody to see their overall thoughts on the new games. When I say new, I mean like new to us. We hadn't played them before. And just see our like thoughts and everything about these games. And while there have been some banger releases so far this year in 2024, not all of them interest everybody here in this particular podcast or room or what have you. Now, I've heard 2024 be referred to as the year of the backlog. So you're going to hear each of us talk about some of the games maybe we haven't played before that we're enjoying and kind of focusing on that. But I'm gonna kick us off here, and I'm gonna hit y'all with the full list of the new games slash new to me games that I've played, and then I'll call on each of you guys to see what y'all been playing, and we'll just generally react. So games that I've played, have been playing, finished playing, they are Portal, Portal 2, Fork Knife Festival, Star Ocean, The Second Story R, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Persona 3 Reload, Sonic Superstars, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna Country, Kirby Planet Robobot, Tunic, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Trails in the Sky First Chapter, Trails in the Sky Second Chapter, Trails from Zero. That is my entire list of the games. And there you go. That's going to be probably our shortest episode. As soon as we get through everybody's. No, that's I've been kind of keeping track of all the games that I've been playing because I like to do the year in summary videos for Inferno Fox Gaming, and that way I also like to do like a top. Last year I did top 23 in 2023, keeping a curated list of the games that I've been playing as I've been playing them to kind of help to keep in mind where these all are at. So it really helps for me to capture that. And as I sped through that list, and I've often been told in my real life full-time job that, like for example, training people, yeah, I tend to go through things pretty quickly. So if y'all have gotten any of that, you'll notice that my list really tends to be heavy and hard on JRPGs. That's no accident. That's probably my favorite genre. But focusing more on the specific games, I would say I've got the most feelings for probably the Trails series, even though it's like recency bias. They're like JRPG games. Hardicus, I know you've played Trails of Cold Steel 1 through 4. Hardicus, did you play any of the other Trails games?
I have not. So the like Trails from Zero, and I think it's Trails from Azure, and then there's another one I think coming out relatively soon.
Yeah,
Those
so
are all on my list.
the Trails in the Sky first chapter, second chapter, and final chapter is like the first trilogy. They're out on Steam, so I'm hoping to get through that. Then is Trails from Zero and Azure, and then is the Cold Steel. So it's funny, you playing Cold Steel 3 and 4. I've heard Cold Steel 4, a little bit of 3, but like 4 is kind of like the Captain America Civil War version in the MCU of like that Trail series. Because it's like, oh, all of a sudden, all these different characters start like coming out of the woodwork from the previous duologies, trilogies, and everything. And then there's Trails from Reverie, which I've heard be equated to like an Avengers game because it's like you can have a party of all the best like the main characters from all the Trail series. And the newest, I'm gonna grab it here. The newest Trails game just came out last Friday, and I'm holding it up on if you're watching on if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or anything like that, I'm holding Trails from Daybreak, the newest Trails game that just came out in the US Friday this past Friday, of which given my current rate of playing these, each of these are about 50 to 60 hours. Won't be getting to this until next year sometime. And then they just announced the second one of this going to be coming out probably around the time I'm going to be starting this, I think March or something like that. So great JRPG series. That's been getting my most attention. Any other thoughts or anything on that crazy list that I spurted out before I call on you guys at all?
Just
You
that your
finally
list puts
got
me to
to
shame.
Portal.
Yes,
You're
my
right.
list does put you to shame, Jason. Sorry. And Simbu, yeah, I did get to Portal finally. I did, and I absolutely think the first Portal game is way better than the second Portal game. I did not care for the second one near as much as I enjoyed the first one. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know.
No, the second one I did enjoy the second one, but the first one by far was the better of the two. Just because it was something different. It was unique. But again, all the dumb, campy, stupid humor, 80s style humor, I should say, in the second game was what did make the game a lot of fun. It did make it enjoyable. But again, the single-minded, mute protagonist versus the, boisterous, the monotone antagonist of Gladys was just a fantastic dynamic.
And the fact when you say it's something new, you hit the nail on the head, because Portal 2 is just, I felt like that was the same thing, just very, very slightly different and dull looking environments. And any more of Stephen Merchant that I kept getting in my ear, like I was gonna, I'm not a fan. We'll just say that, not a fan of Stephen Merchant. So sorry there, fellow Stephen Merchant fans. If you guys are listening or you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the comment section how much you love Stephen Merchant. But yeah. How about, since I put you to shame,
Yeah.
let's put the light of shame on your end, if you think it's quite shameful.
Real life work kills my time, so I did not get to play nearly as many as I'd like, and my backlog has just grown this year instead of shrinking. But the main two games that are brand new and that I've actually been playing decently right now has been Tunic. I've been playing it on the PS5, and I actually liked it enough. I picked it up on the Switch, which was an awesome pickup for me. And then I've been playing, oh my God, Trinity Trigger, right? I said that right. I started up that one and actually been playing that one, and so far I'm enjoying it. So it's not too bad, actually. But those have been the main two brand new games that I've been playing. I mean, otherwise, I still touch Pokemon. I still touch Fortnite. But nothing new in those. I mean, I barely touched a couple of other games. Like Simbu just introduced me to one that I played maybe like a half an hour to an hour tops of it. That Zenless Zone Zero game. It's on the PS5. So far it's good, but of course it wants you to spend money. There's no tomorrow on it. So, but Tunic is awesome. It deserved. I think it won its game of the year. Was it an actual game of the year one, or it was nominated
some
for
kind
at
of
least?
awards,
Yeah,
I remember,
it
yeah.
won a
Or
couple
something?
awards.
Debut
But
indie or best indie? I can't
if you like the original like Zelda games and everything, it is right there. It's pretty darn good. It's been keeping my attention. So
Nice. Yeah. I know that Tunic, it's like a combination of a classic Zelda game, um, with the everybody likes to throw the word Dark Souls like in there, but literally they give you the Dark Souls role, and that plus Zelda essentially is Tunic. Yeah, I mean, there's also the sense of like, I'm lost. Where do I go? What's happening? But that's literally a trait of the game. In that way, in that sense, it almost gives me like that sort of Metroid feel, where it's like that feeling of isolation and where the heck do I go? What the heck do I do?
I didn't know, it's been a long time since I played the old Metroid games, but I felt more lost in the Metroid games than I do in Tunic.
Really?
Yeah, to me at least.
Interesting.
I mean, I get my spots where I'm lost, but
yeah, and I tried
Trinity Trigger. Sorry,
Oh,
go ahead, Inferno.
say again.
What was it, Hargus?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Inferno. I spoke at the same time. I was just asking how Trinity Trigger was. I've had a kind of a side eye on that one.
I have not too far into it, but I picked it up because it is a multiplayer RPG, which is definitely a fun one if I can get like my nephew and stuff to play along with me while I'm playing it. But I thought from screenshots it almost looked like it was going to be like a turn-based, but it's not really turn-based. You kind of run around and you're fighting your enemies in an overworld, but it's got the whole level up systems where you're putting like your points and stuff in the things, and you run around as 3 characters. So if you're playing multiplayer, you each get to choose a character. But
it feels like a spiritual successor to something like Secret of Mana, where you could have 3 players play the 3 different characters in that, and then you level up and you can increase a skill thing. Although I think that's more like Final Fantasy Adventure, the first of the Mana series.
But yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Let me call on Storm next, because I'm curious. Storm, you not only do we give you a ton of games to play and suggest and everything like that. I've been seeing you online on the PlayStation Network playing some real gems and whatnot. So, Storm, what are the new to you games you've jumped into so far in 2024?
All right. So far, I have on the Switch, Peach's Princess Adventure, Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario RPG that had come back out. And then new to me was God of War Ragnarok on the PlayStation. Um, South Park Snow Day. Let's see, Hogwarts Legacy, which I just finished the main story part of that, and now I'm working on all the little side quests. I'm going to table that game so I can continue Path Travelers 2 because all I did for that game was I turned it on and I selected my one little main character to go through, and like that was it. So I got maybe a 1% and then went back to Hogwarts because I decided to give a Hogwarts focus and oh, and Mortal Kombat 1.
Ooh, I
Also
forgot about
played.
Mortal Kombat. I did play a good chunk of Mortal Kombat myself.
Oh,
See?
nice.
There you go. And what else? There's multiverses and also what else did I play? What was the other thing? It just went poop. So I was surprised that there were quite a few newer titles that I had read or looked at, and also a whole bunch of little ones on, because of having access to the PlayStation Network. So, oh, I can't even admit, I can't name them all. There was SpongeBob's Some Adventure, My Little Pony game. Played all the big hard ones here. There was Shredder's Revenge, and
Oh, that's a
also
good one.
Mega Man 11 that was out on the PlayStation.
Nice.
So
Very cool. So for Octopath Traveler 2, what of the 8 characters did you end up picking?
the dancer.
Ah, nice. What? Not Primrose. She's from the first one. What was Cast? Not Casty. Can't remember her name, but
I don't remember her name because honestly, I got that, picked out my character, and then was like, all right, I'll go back to Hogwarts because I was going to give Hogwarts a break, but then I was like, no, I have it in me. I started it, needed to get as much of that finished as I can. But now, since all I have left are not stupid, they're not stupid, but all the side quests, I will, leave that for like days after work because work is coming where my video game time is just going to go to something that I don't want to focus a whole lot on or brain power because I'll be with students all day. So I'll save doing all those little side quests for then, and I'm gonna start doing more heavily stuff to Octopath Traveler and have some other games that I'm looking at. But for now, that is all I've been through outside of little independents that have been free downloads and I've gotten rid of that I can't remember.
no, it's cool. Yeah, Octopath is definitely a 50 to 70 hour JRPG. There's a lot of content in that because all 8 characters have 4 to 5 chapters each, and then each pair, because they get paired up, have 2 chapters, and then once you clear through those pairing chapters and all the 8 characters 4 to 5 chapters, there's one larger tying everything all together chapter that is when you complete that, you beat the game. And there are a lot of like, oh my gosh, kind of moments with that. It was a reason why it was so high up on my top 23 and 2023 list video. It is definitely such a good game, and you got some real winners there. Glad that you enjoyed your time with Hogwarts Legacy. I almost said Harvard Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy.
I do, and you know what? Oh my goodness, because happened at the beginning of the year, Sea of Stars
Yes.
that
That's another-
I got into and just fell in love with it. It was January of this year, so I forgot all about it, but had to get that one in there.
Yeah, that's an excellent, excellent JRPG. If Feral Inferno was here with us, he would be nodding, and he probably would have. He'd be holding up the game, and he'd be nodding because he loves that game, and as do I. It was fantastic, very, very good, solid, solid entry. Any guys? Any other comments to Storm's list of games?
I added My Little Pony to my wish list.
Good.
I want to try playing that now.
It's so much fun.
It looks cute. I like
It-
that.
It's cute and super easy. It's like,
It looks like it. So I need a
No.
little game that help me unwind and not think so much. So
that will do it.
My comment to Storm is she named off like 4 games that I've added to my backlog that haven't even cracked open yet.
Right.
There you go.
I think Sea of Stars is gonna be my next one after I complete my current game.
Yes, I
You'll
can't
love it.
recommend that one enough.
Do you guys like Sea of Stars or Octopath Traveler better? I've like kind of had my eye on those games. Like I used to play a ton of JRPGs, but don't so much anymore. Just if you had to say one of them, you like more.
Astrimedes,
You
you
thought I
suck.
would like more.
You suck. That's like a
I'm a
social
slacker.
choice.
Is it too hard a question?
I think I ranked Octopath higher than Sea of Stars, and I played both of those last year from start to finish. I'm gonna say I liked Octopath Traveler 2 more, but like both of them are like 10 out of 10 games.
Yeah. I guess for me, like what I really like in those games is kind of like weird character class customization strategy kind of
Oh,
stuff.
that's
Which
Sea
would
of
you say
Stars.
is more of like a build system? Sea of Stars? Okay.
Oh, well, wait, build system.
Well, I guess like what I mean is just like which has a more kind of like more choices in your build
Oh,
for
Baldur's Gate
characters.
3.
Perfect.
No, for a build
It's not
thing,
2023 anymore. Baldur's Gate 3 is not the answer to every game question.
Oh, dang it.
You, sir, speak heresy. How dare you?
I would say if you want like building your characters with like jobs and stuff, the Octopath Traveler 2 is the way to go.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
they have preset jobs, but like you can assign a second job to them when you find them. So
Yeah,
Oh,
so then you
well,
get
like-
kind of like the combination of 2 classes deal going. Yeah.
like Skyrim.
sure, although I think Skyrim you could like be everything and anything, I think.
Yeah,
Yep,
pretty
that's the
much.
problem with those games. Yeah. Sorry to derail us there. Just always a question I think to myself when I look at it, almost like any RPG, like that's usually the thing that kind of appeals to me.
Well, how dare you ask a video game related question in a video game podcast?
Sorry, I'll
Astrimedes.
stop talking about that stuff. My list is
Gosh.
going to be best novels I've read.
You tell.
Speaking
Yeah.
of best novels, Simbu. Let's hear from you, Simbu. What are the best novels you've read? Wait, what podcast? Oh,
Simbu
video games.
reads?
I think Simbu reads. No, Simbu. So your games for that you've been playing 2024 that are new or new to you. I know one of them. But go ahead.
No, you don't. You don't know any of them.
I know one of them. I only know
No,
one.
nobody could guess one of them. I mean, nobody could guess, the one that I stream on a weekly basis.
Oh, I was gonna guess the Zenless Zone Zero that you got me to try.
Well, hold on. All right, we'll get there. Right, just pshaw. All right. So let's go back to January, since it's now
Oh, boy.
new to it's 2024 releases as well as new to you. The new to you is what makes this a lot longer of a list.
And sorry to
Starting off in
everyone
January.
else, Simbu's just used up the rest of our time.
No, not the rest of it. Close, but not the rest of it. All right. Evil West, Plague Tale Requiem, Nobody Saves the World, Graveyard Keeper, Cult of the Lamb, Goat Simulators 1 and 3, Silent Hill Short Message, Portal Knights, South Park Snow Day, Roller Drome, Foam Stars, Steel Rising, Hawked, Hello Neighbor 2, Sifu, the Amnesia Collection, Sea of Thieves, Minecraft Legends, Skull, the Hero Slayer, Helldivers 2, Tunic, WWE 2K24, obviously, Crow Country, AEW's Fight Forever, Streets of Rage, Streets of Rage 4, SpongeBob SquarePants Cosmic Shake, Stray, Stumble Guys, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Among Us, finally, Borderlands, no, not Borderlands 3, sorry, can't say that one. I played that when it first came out. Emily Wants to Play, which I swear to God, don't waste your $2 on it. That game is trash. The First Descendant, Tormented Souls, Fate Samurai Remnant, and Zenless Zone 0. Of course, I can't say honorable mention would be Luigi's Mansion 2 HD because it's a remake. I've played the original, but it gets an honorable mention because it is a new release.
Nice.
And of course, Shredder's Revenge, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario Wonder, 3 of that Storm already said.
Yeah, and this is a thing. If there are duplicates, that's fine because like that means that we just are all experiencing the same or slightly similar games. So besides Helldivers, are you touching any other live service game regularly?
Regularly?
Yeah, because I heard you mention like Sea of Thieves. Well, maybe that was the only one I heard. Only other one I heard.
The First Descendant is a live service as well. I've recently started playing that, not too much. Again, it's kind of like First Descendant reminds me of like a Helldivers Helldivers-esque, but it's like it's more of on a Destiny scale. So it feel like I would have more fun if I was playing with 3 people I knew. Very similar to Helldivers. It's more fun when you're playing with friends. I have been playing with Stumble Guys on and off, another live service. But yeah, for the most part, really the only live service I'm still really like mostly messing with is Helldivers 2. Although Storm will be excited and happy because Friday I make my return to Fortnite as the Cursed Sales mini pass comes out, and of course that's going to feature
I have no comment.
well Storm hates me, so it's all right.
Yep.
What'd you think of Crow Country? I thought that looked kind of like an interesting little visuals of Final Fantasy VII, trying to feel like an old kind of Resident Evil game.
So it's I didn't play through the whole thing. I played, I was able to pick up the demo for it, which is like the first couple, little levels. It's very it is, very like old school Final Fantasy feel. But again, instead of, fantasy, it's on that Resident Evil scale. It's not bad. There's a lack of direction in the demo, at least.
Okay. Did it feel like really clunky, like in a not fun way, or did it feel clunky in like a creepy way?
I'd say clunky in a creepy way. What I'm gonna reference is Astrimedes, you'll know you'll be able to pick this up real easy. It's like when I beta tested the new Horde Lord. I gave you the feedback about like direction and instructions and things like that. There's a point in the demo that you have to do one specific thing. Well, I did one specific thing that the game told me that didn't work.
Oh boy.
I looked it up. It said, this is what you have to do. I did it. I spent probably 10 minutes trying to get the stupid puzzle to work.
Ugh.
And that was the demo.
That's unfortunate.
So of course I finished, I ended up finally getting it to work, finished the demo, and it was like, if the game was $5 on like a sale, maybe I would have picked it up for a full 20.
Yeah.
That
Was
one.
there like
And
fun combat? Like, were parts of it fun?
I didn't have any combat.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, because
geez.
I couldn't really
measurable
tell what you
combat.
actually do in the game was the thing, which is kind of why I was curious to ask someone who had played it.
I mean, there is combat, but it wasn't like anything meaningful. It's kind of like, there's bang bang, bang bang bang,
Yeah.
bang bang bang. It wasn't
Interesting.
like, of course, again, with a game like that, you're not going to get a lot of, it's not high res.
It's not going to be
high
like
intensity.
reactive and action-y
Right.
necessarily, but really the whole question for a game like that is like, does it work in terms of like the mood? I feel like so. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like I said, that as any game, one puzzle, can just completely destroy your will to continue.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like a kind of mixed or meh review at best, essentially, from the demo there. What you got out of it?
Before we move on that, Simba, what were your thoughts about Nobody Saves the World?
So I enjoyed my time with it. Not like, oh my God, this is the best game ever. It was a PlayStation Plus free game. And I know Inferno, I had messaged you about maybe downloading it and we could try the multiplayer and see if that would have, made the game maybe a little bit more fun. But again, it was fun for the first couple days, but it just became repetitive. And it was just, I lost my interest.
Yeah, I was just curious because
Multiplayer did make it more fun.
It did?
Yeah. I had someone I played it with, and we actually platinumed the game.
Oh, nice.
We had a lot of fun playing it together.
Very cool. Yeah, because I've heard that that's one of those like indie darlings, and so it kind of caught my attention. It's funny, and I got your message on that, Simbo. I think I was like my arms were deep in the kitchen sink. That was Persona 3 Reload and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, both 70 to 90 hour JRPGs. So I'm like, okay, let me get through this, and then yeah. Maybe that's something we can return back to at some point. I'm hoping, but
very possible.
So moving on, it definitely a really great list, Simbu. It's always exciting to see and hear all the games that you play, and hopefully you'll keep that list and have that accessible when we go through our end of the year and we rank like what we feel were the best games that we played. But Jamie Owls, we're all curious as to the new to you games that you've played so far in 2024.
Well, my list is not very long compared to everyone else's, but
I didn't have one.
I'll start naming games that are new to me. Most of these I played a little bit. Eventually I'll get back to it. Lately I've been getting into replaying games that I played before. So here's my list of games that are new to me this year. Alone in the Dark. This is on here even though I played the PS1 versions, but Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. Technically that's new to me because it came out this year. Tormented Souls, The Callisto Protocol, Silent Hill, The Short Message, Mortal Kombat 1, Super Bomberman R, Disney Illusion Island, Disney Dreamlight Valley, Super Mario RPG, and then the last one was Princess Peach Showtime. So not very long.
No, it's but a lot of them are really good games. And like I remember you mentioned before that you played through Alone in the Dark, and you played through, I think it was Emily's character arc, and Nice thing is you can go right back to that and play David Harbour's. I don't know the character's name. I just know it
Yeah.
literally is David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think during the podcast that if there was other games that I missed. I could have sworn there was something else that I played. I forgot to list, but I'm sure they'll come back after.
See, I thought you played through Resident Evil 4 Remake this year.
That was last year.
Okay.
That was last year. I would have added it, but I don't want to cheat.
No, yeah, none of us have cheated, so we wouldn't want you to cheat either. But those are really good. Hopefully, I know you were playing through Paper Mario on the NSO expansion pack. When
Yeah.
you finish through that, maybe you'll want to take your turn with Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
So that was an excellent JRPG that I played through for the first time this year, and like surprising as that sounds, because I'd never owned it before. I played way too much Smash Brothers Melee in the aughts on the GameCube, way too much. It was a problem.
Jamie Alves, what do you think of Dreamlight Valley as a little cozy game?
I love it. It was on my wish list on my Nintendo Switch thing, and I kept meaning to download it and finally did, and I'm obsessed with it. I think afterwards I'm gonna play some more. But I like it a lot. It's fun.
Do you have that new expansion as well, or just the base game?
I just have the base game now, but I think once I start playing it through and getting into more worlds, I want to download some more of the expansion packs. So
I would highly suggest finishing the base game story before deciding on moving on.
okay.
And
Thanks.
and Simbu alluded to it a bit last year during his playthrough. There's if I remember right, Simbu, there were some really dark themes, and it ended up being a much deeper story than one would expect for Disney Dreamlight
Yes,
Valley.
100% towards the end of the game. Towards the end of the base game, I will say, Storm and I've talked about it before. I know I brought it up on the podcast, as Fox just said, but it gets very, very dark, especially for Disney.
Interesting.
So dark that it actually pops up on the screen and says, make sure you are in a good mental spot before proceeding.
Wow.
That's cool. I like that.
I won't give away what's going on, but again, it's one of those things where before you decide to buy the expansion, I would finish the base game, finish base story, because you very well may need a breather instead of going, oh, I got the expansion, so let me just power through and come to maybe despise the game. Plus, there's always leveling up all your villagers to their max level and stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah, really good list there, Jamie Owls. Really exciting to see that you really get into a lot of really good games. The important thing, though, is you had more games than Jason. So
actually, you guys are making me think of a couple games that I did play just a little bit of that I totally didn't add to the list.
they would count. They would count.
Like I did try Foam Stars when it came out.
The Stormrose reminded me of Mario RPG.
Yeah,
That's what I quickly type.
Thanks to Simbu. I forgot about the goat simulator. I forgot playing that with him.
And I'm trying to remember back, but I believe that was this year. I did play the whole hour-long demo for Pal World, which the hour-long demo does not give you enough time to really get into that game.
well, the good thing is that from what I heard, the Sony Entertainment is one of the partners for Pal World, and that basically says it's at some point Pal World is going to be coming to the PS5.
Oh, that's hilarious. I would totally play it on the PS5.
Poor Microsoft.
Poor Microsoft. So yeah, that eventually that'll be coming, but but not so much for Microsoft. I mean, you can play Xbox games on your Amazon Fire. It's purposeful. They announced that, what was it, a week or so ago. So they themselves are cutting their feet underneath themselves for their consoles, but their long-term plan and always has been with like cloud gaming and gaming without the console. It's all you need is a controller. And
Yeah, I'm sure it's a great experience.
I was watching a video from the Digital Foundry guys, and they're saying like, as long as you have a good internet connection, it's actually
Yeah.
pretty decent, but the image quality is going to be garbage. It's going to be like
Oh,
720p if you're lucky.
Yeah,
And
there's
what's
that whole
classified as
cloud gaming
good
thing is
internet?
interesting.
Yes, exactly. And we've talked about this before, but America is not made for cloud gaming. Just the country in its entirety does not have the infrastructure to support all of the video gamers everywhere. Like
We don't need
Mhm.
no stinking infrastructure.
well, yeah, that's true. We technically don't.
Depending on where you're
America.
at, the infrastructure doesn't even cover things like Netflix. And I can speak from
Yeah.
experience. I live in a rural area, and before last year, my highest internet speed was 1.5 megabyte.
Sheesh.
And that was the
Jesus.
only option out in the rural areas.
And this is what we're talking about here, is that like this is just one of the many hurdles we have in the States. We cannot forget about the individuals in the rural areas, because it's like that's such a wide swath of landmass that we're just totally getting missed. And this is the problem with cloud gaming. It's among many other problems. But speaking of problems, Hardicus has the solution, and the solution is more cowbell. No, it's the
It's burn it all
games.
down. Sorry, go ahead.
You did a what now?
Burn it all down. That's the solution.
Well,
Nuke
that's
it
the
from
solution.
space.
That's the solution if there's a spider in house.
Whoa. Sorry, Seth.
So Hardicus, what games, new to you games, have you played so far in 2024?
I don't have a massive list, but I'm going to start with 2 demos, and one of them which I talked about during our like Steam Next Fest and Nintendo Direct kind of thing. Tiny Glade, I got my hands on a little demo through Steam on that. Kind of what I thought it was going to be, just a very chill, relaxing game, and I hope that it gets expanded a lot though before the re-release. Another demo I played was Die in the Dungeon Origins. It seems like a very fun little kind of dungeon crawler dice game, so I'm looking forward to more on that. Some of the main games I played were Symphony of War: The Nephilim Saga, which is a what is the name of that Fire Emblem type game?
Oh,
Like
like
a
tactical
tactics,
RPG?
yeah, like a tactical RPG kind of game. Infection Free Zone, which is an early access game. It's a like I forgot what the name of the what it is, but it's like it takes your real world area, and you can pick anywhere you want, but like it'll like an augmented reality kind of game with uh essentially zombies.
Hmm.
Some of the other ones that I played were, I play a lot of games on the Xbox Game Pass, so like Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes, Ayuden Chronicles Rising, War Tales, Manor Lords, City Skylines 2. That's pretty much all the games I've really played for new this year.
Nice. What were your thoughts about Eiyuden Chronicles, both games and in relation to the old Suikoden's?
So Rising is more of a platformer Metroid type game. I enjoyed that for what it was. I the only reason I actually played it is because they said it was going to be tied into 100 Heroes, which is the Suikoden type successor. I'm in the middle of that one right now. I'm about 25 hours into it, I would say, and it's very similar to Suikoden in a lot of ways. I do think there might be some balance issues with enemies versus heroes. And there's also like a tactical type of army versus army thing that was added on that is interesting. it's got its own little quirks to it, but overall, Aiden Chronicles 100 Heroes is pretty much a really great Suikoden successor, and I hope they continue with it.
Nice. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I've heard a couple mixed reviews about it, but anybody who had been familiar with the original, the original Suikoden's have generally given it positive reviews. So nice. Definitely glad to hear that. City Skylines 2 was good as well.
I didn't. That's probably the one I played the least amount of. I think I enjoyed City Skylines 1 more, but I don't have enough time to play video games, so that's kind of low on my list. It's probably the one I've played the least amount, other than the demos that I've played.
No, that makes sense because a lot of the games like that, I know that it's SimCity-esque, except good because when they try to reboot SimCity, it was awful.
Oh yeah, that was a nightmare when that rebooted.
So knowing that this is what SimCity should have been, kind of like Story of Seasons from Harvest Moon, the creators move into that. Although I heard the newest Harvest Moons aren't that bad, but I digress. Those type of games like City Skylines, they're time hogs. Definitely.
Oh yeah, you can definitely sink many, 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 many hours into games like that.
Guys, any other thoughts about Hardicus's playlist?
You need to play Animal Crossing.
I did play Animal Crossing.
Did you? What'd you
Yeah,
think?
I played Animal Crossing. I don't know, like a year or two ago when I first got a Switch. It was one of the first games that I played on it. It was good. I love games where I can build my own town or base or things like that. So for what it was, I did enjoy it, but it got a little stale for me over time and just kind of lost interest in it.
No, it's understandable.
Mhm.
I too like the games where you build your base and everything. It's just like they're games like Age of Empires, and then somebody like Cran will come in and destroy my village, and then I have to be mad at him. So yeah, that's why I don't play the RTSs as much.
Usually
Well,
for
Fox,
me,
that's because you must construct additional pylons.
You don't
No,
have enough CPM. Click faster.
Jamie,
Sorry, Jamie Owls.
I was gonna say I would spend a good 45 minutes creating my character only to have the helmet be put on. Remember in Skyrim?
oh yeah, because the whole character creation, and then you never see him.
Yep.
That's why I love games that give you the quality of life changes like that. Like WoW has done that with the transmog system. You can take your helmet off, your shoulders off, things like that. You can make it look like whatever you want. Like I love games that give you that kind of creativity to create whatever you want out of your character instead of being stuck in like, here's my clown suit because this gives me the best attack power.
Yeah, I feel like MMOs kind of like discovered that path first because that's where it kind of comes up the most often. Other people
Oh,
are
yeah.
seeing you and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Because it's funny,
So-
Xenoblade Chronicles 1, when it was on the Wii, had that problem. You get the new armor, and then you look like a big bulked up pretzel, and it's like that also sort of played like an MMORPG. But then when it re-released as in its remaster form in 2021 or 2019, or I think it was something like that, it gave you the ability to where you can wear the armor, but you can have whatever aesthetic. Final Fantasy 14, when I played that. Was nice because I essentially designed my character to look like Jamie Owls. And that way, like, okay, I don't have to have all this crazy flipping armor. I can just put it on and then have it be like, okay, I want it to look like this. It's enchanted to look like this purple outfit or whatnot. But really it's this big skull armor and bones, but you'll never know it. That's the head canon that's not really head canon if it's real the
We just
real
call that
story.
canon.
Yes, exactly. So, Astrimedes, let's have you finish us out here with the games that you have been playing that are new to you this year.
So I'll mention I did play a bunch of Steam Next Fest games also. I decided those didn't count mostly because I'd already talked about them, but they're also just demos, not really available yet. So disclaimer, I'm going to skip over those ones. But there's a game I got pretty recently called Pako 3, Pako. I guess Pako means escape in Finnish, but it's so all three of these games are kind of like interesting little, they're really cheap. They're all between like, $1 and $5 maybe, something like that. You can buy a 2-pack of 1 and 2 for like $8 on Steam together. But they're very it describes itself as a car chase simulator. So it's essentially like a top down or isometric. You can kind of switch the camera. Pako 3 is very like kind of short matches, and like it's not so much vehicle combat. You actually don't even directly control weapons, though there are power-ups you pick up that will kind of automatically try to aim at guys near you and shoot them with different guns, but you really are literally trying to outrun everyone, and you're basically trying to play like it's a cool car chase where you want to skid over around the corner so all the guys fall off that were chasing you and that kind of thing. And it really does create those situations. It's really 3 hits and you die though, so they're like very quick. So when you first pick it up, it's kind of like discouraging. You're like, I bumped 2 walls and then a car bumped into me and I was dead in 8 seconds. But like it's extremely fast to pick up and retry, and you're constantly like unlocking enough money to buy like a new car model. It's got kind of a neat visual aesthetic to it, and it has a few different zones too. It has like Getaway Driver, which is probably the most fun one, that's kind of based on the previous game, Pako 2, and that's where you go to a location, you pick up, it's kind of like a crazy taxi sort of thing almost. You pick up these guys that are ostensibly guys that just, robbed a bank or whatever. They jump in your car, you start driving away, a bunch of cops start chasing you after you grab them, and you have to get them to a particular drop-off point, and then there's like another pickup guys and another drop-off point kind of thing. So that's probably the most like fun mode on its own, but they're all pretty fun. There's Getaway Driver, Racing, one called Survival. It's literally just surviving as long as you can. And then another one called Zones. That's sort of like a vehicular capture the flag, where you sort of drive around in circles or stay in a certain area for a certain amount of time. You capture that area, and then you sort of move on to the next area. And if you leave, the timer resets and you have to kind of start it again. So it's tricky because it's easy to get killed.
Is that kind of giving you like Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 vibes? The way that you're
a bit, yeah. It's very like it's very different though, because like it's really kind of all about like the handling, which feels good and is fun. Like it's very arcadey, but like there is kind of like a handbrake, and I just have like an obsession with like every kind of not quite fully 3D realistic kind of arcadey like vehicle game. I'm always really curious, just because it's been a constant thing I've explored in game development, how to do fun car handling. So I can't resist. If it's like a novel looking small game about driving a car around, I always have to check it out. so Pako 3, and really I kind of recommend the other ones too, Pako and Pako 2, but they're all really cheap. Maybe check them out if you like that kind of thing. But another one I played this year was Pony Island, and I played, I think I think there was like a Flash version or something that originally came out many years ago, but I don't really love the game, to be honest. I like the concept of the game, which is like it's sort of like a haunted kind of video game arcade cabinet kind of thing almost, where you're just like a little sort of My Little Pony-esque pony that moves like left to right, and you essentially jump over hurdles. The game keeps adding all this weird stuff. There's essentially this kind of like demonic force you're kind of playing back and forth with. My main problem with it is that like the puzzly parts of the game, which I think is something that maybe was added for like the full game after the Flash game or whatever, the sort of puzzly parts of the game I really just find not fun, and I just kind of slam into a wall when I hit those parts, and it just feels like I want to see the rest of the little game, but I don't really want to suffer through the puzzly parts of it. So it's the same, notably it's the same guy, Daniel Mullins, that made Inscription. I think that was his next game or one of his next games, and I love Inscription. I feel like he really kind of nailed that sort of formula almost. But another game, the next game I'm going to mention is not actually a game, is my disclaimer, but is something on Steam that calls itself a kinetic novel. It's essentially kind of like it's sort of like a digital graphic novel kind of thing. There's like the frames are like not quite static. You'll see like a scene with some characters. They'll kind of change positions. There's little like kind of there isn't it's not voice acted, but there's sort of each character has a unique little audio sound, kind of garbly, blah 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 kind of voice while they're talking. And the speech bubbles kind of fly around. There's a lot of audio for random sounds. This thing is called Cut to the Core, and I'm not really it's only for extreme kind of like weird gore hounds like me, essentially, would be interested. There's like, don't touch it if you are worried about gore or potential kind of mention and reference to and some direct depiction of kind of animal cruelty from a really insane mad scientist character. It's a crazy body horror kind of thing. I mainly wanted to mention it because I kind of like this style of thing. It's like I'm always lately, especially I've been kind of going on a weird path looking for kind of like interactive fiction kind of things that are sort of like in a horror vein. So that's kind of what got this on my radar. But the presentation was really nice. It has very authentic looking like old pulp comic book style, like graphical style, like including even like the coloring. So like the old way they would do color layering in those comic books is pretty faithfully kind of represented here. So think like the old Tales from the Crypt comic books. Like that's kind of what this thing is going for, except way more gory and nasty. But yeah, so Cut to the Core, that one was called. If that is something that is appealing to you, it's pretty interesting. I think I got it on sale. But so a couple more I'll just kind of blast through here. There's a game, Death and Taxes, that's essentially like a Papers, Please, where you're the Grim Reaper. That one's pretty fun. The writing's good, and it's pretty like system-y too. You make all these choices, and it essentially literally affects the fate of the world. And it really feels like it kind of makes sense when you see what happened at the end. It's like, oh, guess I shouldn't have killed all those ecologists, kind of thing. So it's a pretty fun game that it's like kind of like interactive fiction, but they did a nice job of layering like a real kind of system inside of it. There's a game, Isolamus, I think it's called. It's a 99-cent claymation game that describes itself pretty perfectly. Bite-sized surreal horror with multiple choices. Make your own way through the claymation madness. So it is all stop motion claymation stuff, very abstract. There are no words whatsoever. You're kind of just clicking on different things, not necessarily fully understanding what you're doing. And then there's kind of 5 different endings. It's really short. It takes maybe 10 minutes to play through it. It's just a neat visual thing, basically. And then I'll just very quickly mention there were 2 games I have kind of mixed feelings on. One's called Milk Inside a Bag of Milk, Inside a Bag of Milk, Inside a Bag of Milk is the name of the game. You help a little girl go to the store and buy milk and bring it home to her mother. And it's a very weird sort of like visual novel. There aren't really many choices at all in the game. There's a few. I think you can actually type things. Maybe a few are understood. I forgot exactly the interface, but it's really short. I kind of liked it because it was discomforting. There's kind of weird themes like mental health issues. There's some like fourth wall breaking, and has a very gross low res presentation. And then because I sort of liked that, and I think this is again probably like a 99-cent game, because I liked that, I checked out a sequel that I saw was made called Milk Outside a Bag of Milk, Outside a Bag of Milk, Outside a Bag of Milk. And that one it's kind of a more expanded version of the first one with kind of much nicer art and higher production values, but I kind of bounced off it because I thought it was way too wordy, sort of, and not enough meaning in the words. And I don't know, I think not having that low res presentation just lost a lot of kind of the creepy factor for me almost. So I didn't really feel like struggling through. Like, to their credit, they tried to make it more of a game. It looks like it's kind of more of a point and click adventure game a bit, so it sort of is more gamey. But I thought the writing, it just felt like, okay, I'm spending 15 minutes reading and 30 seconds playing, and the writing isn't interesting enough on its own to hold my attention.
Yeah, for
And
something like
then-
that, you need to have quite a compelling story for that, because visual novels, even on consoles, can pull that kind of stuff off. I think like the Danganronpa series, for example, is that's like a visual novel slash active, keep everybody alive or not sort of thing. And if you're not, you don't have that compelling 30-second of the 15-minute thing, or the other, what is it? I'm sorry, 14 minutes of and 30 seconds. Yeah, it's not gonna be good for you.
Yep. Yeah. And then I got Soul Calibur 6 because it was on sale and I wanted a fighting game to play for one night when I had some of my D&D group over, but not all of them, so we couldn't actually play D&D. Looking for a different game to play that wasn't Duck Game, because for some reason we keep playing Duck Game. I don't understand why, but we do for years on end. And I wanted to mix it up, and it's fine. It's a Soul Calibur game. That's what I'll say about it.
Nice. No, it's a good list. I always enjoy when you give us a background of a lot of these indie games and really unique games that we wouldn't otherwise hear. Was it Pony Island, Pony Express?
Pony Island, yeah.
My buddy Run tried to get me into that, and I was playing it, and I got about an hour in, and it was a thing where like you're supposed to follow I guess type a certain specific set of answers, and I'm just fudging around and trying to be silly with stuff, and it's like, no, you have to put a very specific set of things to advance the narrative, and I'm like, okay, I want to have fun with this. Like, this would be a game that would be really good if they would uh implement AI in a way to where it would be fun and creative, but like also keep the whole story itself. Like, I think that would be a good like Chat GPT type story. But otherwise, like I'm like you, it wasn't compelling enough for me to keep sort of playing through that. Even the actual game wasn't all that great. So I'm like, eh.
No, but I thought that was at least kind of simpler. And like, I really would have preferred, and I think it's probably how the Flash game was. It's really just all that like left to right pony game. It keeps layering weird little stuff on top of it. And that would have been sufficient for me rather than all the other stuff that was kind of jammed in there.
It kind of makes me think of Undertale, really, where the actual core game is super simple, where you just have up, down, left, right, and you avoid a heart in a small box and avoid very slow moving obstacles. That's Undertale's battle system. Really, that's it. But the layer on top of that is a extremely complex RPG with a tremendous amount of character development and a meta type story. I wasn't getting that with the time that I had with Pony Island, although maybe
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, it really just tells one story, I feel like, which is fine if you enjoy it the whole time.
Hardicus, any of the games that Astrimedes mentioned catch your eye that you've already played or anything like that?
No, I don't think I played anything that he's played. Actually, he's usually got a very interesting list that I don't think a lot of people touch. I play
Yeah,
D&D
I
though,
haven't
Astrimedes.
heard any of those games.
Hey, that's a good game.
And well, when you have people that you can find to play it.
Yep, that's the challenge. That's why I've been playing with the same people for 18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Jamie
rough.
Ellis was just saying that she hadn't heard of the any of the games either, right, Jamie Ellis?
Yeah, and how did you discover those? I'm just curious.
I do crazy. I actually like the Steam Discovery queue feature. I use that at least a few times a week. I just randomly go through that. I also I constantly just search for like weird indie games. I have a few like YouTube channels I'll watch that are just a little list of indie games, but then a lot of what I'm doing is really just searching. I'm searching for
Yeah.
weird tags, and I look for things on Itch.io a lot of the time too, just because I've noticed there's very weird little stuff on Itch.io. So often I'll find something on Itch.io. Often it also has a Steam release, so I'll decide where I want to buy it or whatever. But yeah, I'm actively looking for the weird stuff, and I'm not afraid to put a game down either. Is the thing. Like
Yeah.
I explore a lot of games, but like I'm not really someone generally that obsesses about completion. I play it as long as it's fun, and if that's to completion, that's great. And if it's
Yeah.
not, that's fine too. And I don't really dislike the game for it necessarily.
Nice.
There's
Those
a
are
double
wise
feature.
words to live by. It's
Mhm.
the 75-page rule. You read a book, and set by page 75, if the writing style, the characters, anything like that haven't grabbed you, it's time to move on, and that's okay.
I don't feel so bad.
Exactly.
Well, that's a
I-
problem because I put C-spot rundown after about 10 pages.
I don't think C-spot run is 10 pages long. So you were doing your homework. It was an 8-page book and you read 10 pages. Look at that. That's
There's
like
also a couple of YouTube people that I'll follow for some of those indie games or early access games that they're keeping track of, like Splattercat Gaming's one of those guys that he does like a 30 or so minute video on like gameplay, things that he would change and stuff like that for a lot of these early access, and he'll follow them throughout the year or over a couple of years if it needs to. But his channel's been pretty informative as far as any kind of new games that like I've been on the fence about or never even heard of, that's like, hey, this game looks kind of cool, and then he'll go over some details and a lot of different things with that. So it's pretty helpful on some of those YouTube videos.
Yeah, I'll occasionally find stuff actually on game development forums too. Oftentimes there'll be a game I've been hearing about for years. Like sometimes the games you guys mention, even like an indie game that ended up getting a full release, I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember a couple years ago seeing a bunch of posts about that game, on either Reddit or Lemmy or whatever.
That's cool. That's good. So you all now have, our audience now have a good idea as to what the games that we've played, and you kind of hopefully have a good idea as to our own preferences. You got me with the JRPGs, you got Astrimedes with some unique titles, you got Jamie Owls and Storm with some fun, not so much cozy games, but maybe a couple of them, and then also some horror games. You got Jason with no games, because apparently Jason doesn't like video games. He doesn't play enough. Jason.
That is for sure. I do not play enough at all. I need to play more.
I always have to give Jason a hard time. He's got, when you work a 12-hour a day shift.
10 hours.
Well, it was 12.
It was
for a while.
For a while, it was 12 hours days.
It might as well be 12 hours, because you have to drive 1 hour there, 1 hour back. So
now you're playing 2 hours a day more of video games minimum, I assume, right?
So, but again, hopefully with the games that we mentioned, you kind of have an idea as to what we're going to be playing next. So that means Simbu's going to be doing some My Little Pony, and Hardicus is going to be doing some Hello Kitty. So we've got no, seriously, these are fun, cozy games, and any of the games, if they catch your attention, play them, have fun with it. Who the heck cares? If it's fun, shoot, I will play My Little Pony.
No game shaming.
Yeah,
yes.
Down with the gatekeeping.
Yes.
In video games. Thank you.
And that will be a future topic at some point, because the whole idea of gatekeeping in fan bases and game series, even consoles. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one, a fun one to tear down. I think the 7 of us would love to tear that down. It's fun to joke
Stop
about
gatekeeping, everyone. That's my job. You're not allowed to do it.
I would love to tear down Fortnite. Let's do this.
Yes.
Astrimedes, excuse me, sir, but it's my heel year, not yours. So gate kept on you.
And Hardicus wants to pick on Fortnite. Go ahead. How much of it have you played? Are you mad at Epic? If you're mad at Epic, you can't take it out on the game. That's all there is to
Both.
it.
I haven't played any of it, and I'm mad at Epic.
Well, then you can only complain about Epic. I don't want to hear any more complaints about it.
I'm mad at the game and I haven't played Epic.
Exactly.
Eepa! Eepa!
Shakes hand at Sky.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's silly. So again, once again, a huge thank you to our fantastic cast and crew as we went through our games. And we hope that you guys will continue to check out our future content. We got some fun stuff. We're going to be talking about games that we are proud to have been beaten. This is a topic that is inspired by the fantastic YouTube creator FemTrooper. Games that we are proud to have beaten. as well as other stuff. So make sure that you like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below games that you are proud to have beaten, or more specifically, the games that you have played so far in 2024. But thank you again for watching. Before we go, any parting shots? Any other parting shots on Epic, Fork Knife, Jason for not playing video games?
How dare you?
Jason, play more games.
Yes. Oh,
Start pulling your weight, buddy.
hey, let's do a backlog episode, and you'll see how crazy mine is.
So a
Oh,
games
yeah,
we
that's
haven't
good.
played
Yeah.
episode.
Oh my gosh.
What are your thoughts on these games you
Games
haven't
that are
played?
sitting on the shelf waiting to be played.
Yep.
Games that we said that we'll play, but we never played.
Hey,
Yeah,
then I'll have the longest list there. Okay.
I have an
I
Excel
got one.
spreadsheet of my backlog. Mine probably beats yours. Oh, sorry, Simbu.
I got one. Everybody needs to draw a picture of what the FBI agent spying on Astrimedes' computer looks like.
Probably looks like that South Park guy from the World of Warcraft episode. No, not that. Well, I don't know. Did he? I thought he was like a fat slob guy.
Yep.
Either one. I mean, tweaking out, like getting ready to go be straitjacketed, or Cheeto covered fingers. I mean, either one works.
And on that Cheeto covered finger note, thank you so much. Make sure that you check us out again next time on Tuesday evenings. There are when the podcast episodes are posted. So Cheeto fingers out. Have a good one, guys.